Hello everyone. In today's session, we will see what are the protocols required for the technology transfer process. First, we have to overlook over the what are the different phases are involved in the technology transfer process. So, first phase is associated with the research phase. In that of the research phase, we have to design the experiments. In case of the design of experiment, first you have to select the what is the raw material. In case of the development of dosage form, you have to select the excipients. Next, once you have to select the excipients, then you have to go for the which method or the procedure is the applicable for formulation of dosage form. So first phase is the research phase. Second phase is the development phase. In case of the development phase, you have to first develop the formula in the R&D batches. So research and development team, they are mainly focused on that of the development of formula and transfers that formula to that of the production department. Next, they can prepare the master formula card, then master packing card, master formula. Master formula is a representative formula of that of your batch. Then what are the evaluation parameters of that of the batch, that is the specifications and the standard state procedures. Once your dosage form is developed in that of the R&D, next stage is that is the develop production phase. In case of the production phase, you have to optimize that each and every parameters and the start with the production. Once your parameter is optimized and the produce, then you can start with the validation studies. Once what are the methods or the parameters you have to validate. And once the validation is completed, then you can start with the production on the scale-up batches. That is the last commercial batches you can prepare. Then what are the documents are involved in the protocol preparation? So first is your development report. Development report includes the all phases starting from the selection of raw material to that of the final validation, production, optimization. All other reports are mentioned in that of the development report. Next, you have to mention that what is your plan for the technology transfer, and the various reports are involved in that of the technology transfer process. And the last phase is that of the exhibit batches. So these flowcharts indicates what are the different phases are involved in that of the technology transfer process. So we have to see the details regarding that of the each phase, what the parameters you have to focus and what are the critical aspects you have to evaluate it during that development of the new formulation. So there is a many phases are involved. So during the development of the formulation, it's important to understand procedure, critical and non-critical parameters of the each operation, production environment, equipment, and excipient capability. So this all should be taken into the consideration. So the successful scale up, once you can consider these all parameters, so ultimately your scale up can be successfully carried out. The team of the technology transfer, they comprise the project manager, representatives from regulatory affairs, material management, manufacturing operations, R&D, and the engineers. All are work in coordination for the all related assignment involved in that of the various phases of the technology transfer. So start with the first is the research phase. In case of that of the research phase, first parameter is to you have to start the design of your experimentation or the design of the your formula for the formulation of pharmaceutical products. So you have to select the procedure along with that of the selection of excipient play the important role in that of the quality design. So it is associated with the eliminations of ADR reaction associated with that product, improvement in the efficacy, that assurance of the stability during the distribution. So it can assure that your product should not decompose till the shelf life of that of the product. Again, you can check the what is the characteristics associated with the raw materials, their reaction path, and what are the specification of the drug. Basic specification means what is the solubility, what is the melting point parameters. Now, if the drugs undergo the degradations with the light, These parameters you can study with the basic specification of the drug. Next phase, that is the development phase. In case of that of the development phase, they can carry out in that of the research for factory production unit. They can develop the development phase. So to manufacture the drug with the quality, that should be designed in a such a way that they have to establish the appropriate quality control methods, manufacturing methods, and after identifying various variables, establish the quality in the scale-up process. The scale-up should be performed in a such a way that should be designed on the basis of that of the small experiments at the lab level. That is in the development phase. Next phase is that is the research for the factory production. So we have to design that all are the research in the lab level that should be matched with that of the what are the considerations you can considerations in that of the manufacturing of scale up batches. Second phase we will see is the development phase. So in case of the development phase, first is the research for factory production. So if you have to design the experiment for the small scale, then you can go to that of the large scale. Then you have to consider the consistency between the quality and the specifications. So what are the products you prepare? If they are having the good quality, they have to the results of that should match with the particular specifications. So quality experiments or the quality designs assures that you can manufacture the products having the good quality and that product shall satisfy that of the quality of design concern. So what are the formula you develop? What are the products you have to manufacture that having the good quality and they have to match the or they have to result should be within the specification one. Once you develop the quality products and your results are matched with the specification, next step is that assurance of the consistency to the development and manufacturing. Once you obtain that stable product, it indicates that should be made similar product you have to prepare by the manufacturer when the research for the factory production is implemented. In that of the research phase, you prepare that product. If having sufficient stability, then you can go for the manufacture for the preparation of that of the products in case of the development phase. We have to assure that the consistency as well as the specifications. We have to purpose to assure the assurity transferring party of the development. They have to also establish the appropriate evaluation methods to determine that whether the drug is meets the quality standards or the not. Next is the technology transfer from the R&D to the production. Fourth part in that of the development phase. So here, in case R&D department, you can develop the formula. Then you can prepare the technology transfer dossier. The dossier contains the all informations associated with the transfer, which contain the all information regarding the formulation as well as the drug product. So it contains the master formula card. Master formula cards is nothing but that it comprises the product name along with the strain, generic name, master formula card number, effective date, shelf life, and the market details. These are the all things you have to included in that of the master formula card. Next one is the master packing card. It provides the information about the packaging type you can use for the formulation, material used for the packaging, stability profile of the packaging, whether that material does not having the any interactions with that of your product. It should be inert one, and the shelf life of the packaging. Till the end of that of the product, it should remain intact one. Next is the master packing card. It provides the information about the packaging type, material used for packaging, and the stability. Next one is the master formula. It includes the formulation order and manufacturing instructions. Formulation order and that manufacturing instructions, you can do the idea regarding the process order, environment conditions required, and manufacturing instructions for the dosage form development. And the last one is that is the specifications and standard states procedures, that is the STPs. It helped to know that API profile, and along with that excipient profile, then next in process parameters, there are specifications, product release specifications, and the finished product details. All information you have to mention in that of the specifications and the standard state procedures. Next, you have to start with the third phase, is that is the production phase. That production phase include the validation and the production. So production is implemented after verification by the various validation studies that transfer the manufacturing formula. They are able to produce the stable products or the not. So that R&D department involved in the transferring the technology, so they should take the responsibility regarding the validation. Validation is nothing but that they have to determine the predetermined specifications and the qualification. So they have to associated the responsibility with the R&D department. That validation they have to carry it out. So in case of the validation, they have to perform the performance qualification, cleaning validation, process validation, that is a unique to that of the particular drug. Next, once you have to validate and the start the production, next stage is the scale up for the production one. To scale up involve the transfer of technology from the small scale development of the product, and they are converted in that of the routine production. So it is essential to consider that what is the production environment system during the development of the process, and then effective technology transfer is also help to provide the process efficiency. Whether you can use a particular method, it should produce the consistently quality products or the not. You can check the efficiency and maintain the product quality. Next is the consideration of the different parameters for the scale up. So before start with the scale up, you have to consider the various parameters like flexibility, cost, dependability, innovations, and the product quality. That is all are the required, and that should be optimum for the successful transfer of technology. Next one is that selection of the method. The method for the batch fabrication that should be selected on the basis of the data available from the research and development department. So various critical process parameters they should consider during the selection of the methods for the technology transfer. That is in case of the tablets, so production, granulation, bending, drying, compression, coating. These are the critical process parameters. So you have to consider that all parameters during the selection of the any method, which are the critical process parameters for the particular process. Next one is that technology transfer documentation. So here the first you have to develop the reports, development of the report. So that reports is the nothing but an important file to indicate the rationale for the quality design of the drug substance, their specification, and the test method. So this report is not a prerequisite for the application of approval, that is a drug regulatory approval, but it is a use at the time of the pre-approval inspection process. Next documentation is required is a technology transfer plan. It is a very important one. It describes that what are the resources are required. That is describe the atoms and the content of the technology that should be transferred. It includes the procedures of the individual transfer, and the transfer schedules are mentioned. They can also establish the judgment criteria for the completion of the transfer process. And the last one is that technology transfer reports. It includes the all documents associated with the manufacturing process. So completion of technology transfer that should be made once data are taken accordingly to that of the technology plan, are evaluated to confirm that the predetermined judgment criteria are made. What are the predetermined specification you have to mention in the development report? They have to meet in that of the technology transfer. So both transferring and the third parties that should document the technology transfer report. So both are having the responsibility transferring, and those are receive the technology. So both are having responsibility to maintain that record. So it includes the manufacturing related document, include the drug product standards, verifications, and that result of the technology transfer. The last phase in it is the exhibit batch. Once you are start with the scale up batches manufacturing, so you can start with the manufacturing of exhibit batches. So in case of the exhibit batch, you have to batch size you can increase along with the equipment and processes. In case of the lab level small equipment you can use, so problems are different. As you can go for the scale up one, so your batch size are increases. Along with that, you require the large mixers, uh, homogenizers for the mixing, and their processes are the different. So once in case of the exhibit batch, you have to optimize this batch size. What are the equipments are required? Their process parameters. And these exhibit batch reports are the required for the filing purpose in the regulatory agencies because it is your representative of your final batch. So that's why it is a required for the filing for the regulatory approval. And the main purpose is that preparation of the exhibit batch is that to run the 3 consecutive batches, they can shows the process consistency. So final that exhibit batch is a representative of your original formula or the original batch you prepared. So they can show us the process consistency. It should be reproducible one. They can demonstrate the overall manufacturing process and all parameters should be under control throughout the all different stages of the production.